The DeepSeek AI myth. Can 6 millions actually build a GPT-4 competitor? Hi, my dearest audience. As you may know, everyone is talking about DeepSeek these days. In just a few months, this Chinese AI startup has made headlines, shaken up the AI industry, and even caused major tech giants to stumble. Stocks have tumbled, investors are panicking, and some are even calling this the biggest AI disruption ever. But today, I want to talk about something different, something fresh. I'm going to break down 4 solid reasons why I believe DeepSeek's claim that they built a GPT-4 competitor in just 2 months with only 6 million is not really honest. And more importantly, I'll uncover the hidden conspiracies behind this entire DeepSeek plan, because trust me, things don't add up. But here's the part you really need to pay attention to. What does this mean for us potential DeepSeek users? What risks are we unknowingly walking into? Is there something we should be worried about before using their AI? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see DeepSeek in a completely different light. Let's dive in. To kick things off, let's investigate if we can really build GPT-4 with 6 million. To do that, I will point out 5 undeniable cost comparisons that prove why pulling this off for just 6 million is next to impossible. 1. The hardware costs. First, let's break down hardware costs and why the math just doesn't add up to 6 million. You know, training a large language model like GPT-4 demands a colossal amount of computing power. We're talking thousands of GPUs working non-stop over months. Now, let's look at what these GPUs cost. OpenAI likely used NVIDIA A100s or H100s, the gold standard for AI training. These aren't your everyday chips. They cost anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 per unit. And estimates suggest training GPT-4 required somewhere between 10,000 to 25,000 GPUs running full-time for several months. Now let's estimate the total cost based on GPU price. First, cost of just 1,000 GPUs, 35 millions. Thus, cost of 10,000 GPUs minimum for GPT-4 will be 350 plus millions. And cost of 25,000 GPUs would be 870 plus millions. OMG, 875 millions of dollars. That's huge. Meanwhile, DeepSeek's total budget, only $6 million. So right away, the numbers don't make sense. DeepSeek's entire $6 million budget wouldn't even buy 200 GPUs, let alone train a cutting-edge AI model. And we are just talking about the price tag in the ballpark of hundreds of millions of dollars just for the hardware. Now here's where things get even more complicated. These A100 GPUs, they're banned for export to China. So how exactly did DeepSeek manage to get their hands on them? Did they smuggle thousands of units illegally? And even if they did, what happens when these GPUs fail? Where do they get replacements? This isn't a one-time purchase. Maintenance is an ongoing cost. The other possibility? Maybe they're using low-cost, locally produced chips instead of high-performance GPUs like the A100 or H100. But then we're left with another problem: quality and performance. Can these chips even handle the demands of training a state-of-the-art AI model? And even if they could, the overall costs would still far exceed 6 million. So when you add it all up, this $6 million claim just doesn't hold water. The hardware costs alone blow past that budget. AI model needs 10,000 plus GPUs. 6M won't even buy 200. Stay tuned. We're just scratching the surface. What we reveal next might change everything. 2. Cloud computing. Costs. Trust me, this is really a hidden billion-dollar expense. Alright, let's play along for a moment and assume that DeepSeek somehow managed to secure thousands of GPUs, despite the export bans, supply chain hurdles, and staggering upfront costs. But guess what? The real challenge is just getting started. Why? Because training an AI model like GPT-4 isn't just about owning GPUs, it's about having the infrastructure to actually use them. And that's where cloud computing comes in. Let's take OpenAI as an example. To train GPT-4, they didn't just rely on any ordinary server farm. They partnered with Microsoft Azure's AI supercomputer as state-of-the-art setup, optimized specifically for large-scale machine learning tasks. And here's the kicker. Running this system is eye-wateringly expensive. Estimates suggest that OpenAI's cloud computing costs for GPT-4 were somewhere between 50 million to 100 million per month during the training phase. Considering that training could take 6 to 12 months, you're looking at $1 billion expense just for cloud infrastructure. That's more than the annual GDP of some small nations. Just 1 month of cloud costs yield 10x DeepSeek's total budget. Stay with us because this next piece of evidence could be the smoking gun. 3. The electricity bill. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Running a distributed training setup with thousands of GPUs isn't just about renting server space. You need to factor in power consumption, cooling systems, and even network bandwidth, all of which add layers of hidden costs. For example, AI supercomputers like the one OpenAI used are designed to operate 24/7 at peak efficiency, meaning they consume millions of dollars worth of electricity every month. These GPUs don't run on magic. Training 10,000 GPUs continuously for months requires about 4 megawatts MWs of power. That's like running 4,000 homes 24/7. And don't forget about data storage. You're not just saving a few gigabytes here. We're talking about managing petabytes of data. And this costs tons of money again. AI training equals powering a small city. Now here's where things get suspicious. If DeepSeek really only had $6 million to work with, how on earth could they afford even a fraction of these operational costs? Microsoft Azure isn't exactly offering supercomputer coupons. Furthermore, building your own data center would easily cost hundreds of millions more. Let's be real. Even if DeepSeek cut corners, used smaller data centers, or opted for budget cloud providers, there's just no way $6 million could cover the scale needed to train a GPT-4 competitor. So, where's the money coming from? Think that's wild? Wait until you hear what we uncover next. Stay tuned. 4. Data and training costs. All right, let's move on to another critical aspect of building an AI model. Data. Even if you somehow have all the GPUs and computing power lined up, without the right data, your AI is essentially a high-tech shell with no intelligence. Training a model like GPT-4 requires billions of words. That's not an exaggeration. We're talking about pulling data from books, scientific articles, news sources, Wikipedia, and even proprietary datasets that aren't freely available online. For OpenAI, this meant investing tens of millions of dollars just to acquire high-quality datasets. Some of this data was free like public domain books or open-source projects, but a large chunk had to be purchased from publishers, news organizations, or specialized repositories. But here's the kicker. Not all data is created equal. You can't just scrape random text off the internet and expect your AI to produce coherent, high-quality results. OpenAI invested heavily in curating and cleaning this data, ensuring it was free of spam, bias, and low-quality text. This process of cleaning and organizing data takes thousands of engineering hours, each of which costs money. Remember, these aren't minimum wage jobs. These are highly skilled AI researchers and data scientists, many of whom earned six-figure salaries. Now let's talk about what comes next. Reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF. This is where OpenAI's process gets even more expensive. What is RLHF? In simple terms, it's a way to fine-tune the AI using feedback from real people. Human trainers evaluate the model's outputs, provide corrections, and guide it to perform better over time. Now, these human trainers aren't volunteers. They're highly skilled workers, many of them experts in language, AI systems, or specific industries. On average, they're paid between $15 to $50 per hour, depending on their expertise and the complexity of the task. To train GPT-4, OpenAI employed hundreds of trainers over months of work, adding yet another tens of millions of dollars to the overall training bill. And here's where it gets even more complicated. RLHF isn't a one-and-done process. As the model evolves, it needs continuous feedback and retraining to stay relevant and accurate. This adds recurring costs on top of the already massive training expenses. So let's break this down. OpenAI likely spent hundreds of millions of dollars acquiring, cleaning, and curating data, not to mention the cost of RLHF. And DeepSeek claims they did all this with just $6 million? Let's be honest, the math simply doesn't add up. Unless, of course, they just took it from some available sources somewhere. Just kidding. Or are we? But jokes aside, it's hard to imagine how any legitimate effort to create a model of this scale could be done at such a low cost. Just when you think it can't get crazier, trust me, it does. Don't go anywhere. Data costs, no shortcuts in AI. So what's the real story here? Either DeepSeek has redefined AI economics in ways that defy logic, or they're selling us a dream that doesn't exist. as the cost of data and RLHF may go up to $50,100. 5. Expert salaries. Let's talk about the people who actually build these models. AI engineers. And here's the kicker. AI isn't built by interns. It takes a team of some of the most talented minds in the world. The top engineers at OpenAI, DeepMind, or Anthropic, some of the highest paid professionals in tech. A senior AI engineer can earn $500,000 to $1 million annually. And for good reason, these are the people who make AI magic happen. Average AI engineer salary, $500,000 to $1 per year. OpenAI's research team, 200 plus engineers, researchers, and specialists. Total estimated research costs, over $200 million annually. But it's not just about salaries. These engineers work in highly collaborative environments with researchers, data scientists, and machine learning specialists. The team size alone at OpenAI is in the hundreds, and the cost of maintaining this kind of expertise easily adds up to $200 million or more per year. Now, let's look at DeepSeek. They claim to have built a GPT-4 competitor on a $6 million budget. So how are they paying their team? With monopoly money? Are they hiring interns? Or maybe they're doing this as a side hustle on weekends? Here's the reality. Even if DeepSeek somehow managed to hire a handful of engineers at a much lower rate, the sheer expertise needed to design, train, and deploy a GPT-4 level model is not cheap. At this point, the math is laughable. Are we supposed to believe they paid world-class engineers covered in cloud computing, GPUs, data acquisition, and more, all with just $6 million? Either they've defined efficiency, or something's not adding up. AI engineers alone cost 30x DeepSeek's budget. Hold on. The next twist will make you question everything you thought you knew. So how does DeepSeek's $6 million stack up against real-world AI initiatives? Let's take a look at some of the industry's biggest players and their costs. OpenAI GPT-4 OpenAI has team size of hundreds of engineers, researchers, and data scientists. Their annual R&D costs is estimated at over $200 million. Outcome: one of the most advanced large language models in the world. DeepMind's AlphaGo DeepMind has team size of over 400 employees at the time, including leading AI experts. R&D costs estimated at $1 billion annually for all research projects. Outcome: revolutionized AI applications with breakthroughs, Anthropic's Claude AI. Initial investment, over $580 million in funding, including focus, developing safer, human-aligned AI models. Team, composed of former OpenAI researchers and top engineers, with a $1 billion investment from Microsoft to build and maintain the AI supercomputer infrastructure. In reinforcement learning and protein folding, AlphaFold, a $300 million investment from Google Cloud. Notice a pattern? Companies building cutting-edge AI aren't working with pocket change. These are multi-billion-dollar projects backed by years of expertise, infrastructure, and massive investments. And yet DeepSeek claims to achieve similar results with just $6 million. Baidu's Ernie AI. Funding. Baidu has invested billions in AI. Infrastructure runs on thousands of GPUs and TPUs. Challenge. Despite these resources, Ernie AI still struggles. Development to compete with GPT models, requiring huge investments in both hardware and software to match GPT-4's capabilities in global benchmarks. Even with billions of dollars, companies like Baidu face enormous challenges replicating GPT-4's performance. It makes you wonder, what's DeepSeek's secret? A magical $6 million budget? NVIDIA's NeMo framework? Focus. Building custom LLMs for businesses. The costs. NVIDIA reports that training a single high-quality LLM. Outcome? Enterprise-grade AI, but at a cost can cost $10 to $15 for compute alone, not including data, RLHF, or staffing. That's already 2-3x DeepSeek's total budget. So let's summarize. OpenAI spent over $1 billion to build GPT-4. DeepMind burns through $1 billion annually for research, and even NVIDIA's smaller-scale projects cost tens of millions. Yet DeepSeek claims to have rivaled these giants with $6 million. Unless they've reinvented the laws of economics or pulled off the heist of the century, something doesn't add up. AI engineers cost more than DeepSeek's entire budget. Coming up, the theory that ties it all together: And it's not what you think. Stay tuned. So, after breaking down the numbers from compute costs to data, talent, and beyond, it's clear that building a true GPT-4 competitor isn't just about throwing 6 million at the problem. The math doesn't add up. Either DeepSeek AI has some secret advantage, or there's more going on behind the scenes. And that's exactly what we'll uncover in Part 2, the conspiracies, the hidden agendas, and what we should do. Don't miss it. Click now to watch Part 2. Link in the description.